now that I've been through the process of producing Besieged and surviving the insanity of doing a feature-length, semi-professional fan film, it was definitely worth all the hassle, because the reason I did it was everyone can go and make a film now. The way technology is, you can go and spend £500, get your wee DSLR camera and off you go and do it. Anyone can do it. Not necessarily everyone is any good at it. But the thing is, when you do something creative with your life, all your friends and family will tell you you're a genius. They're not going to give you a proper critique because they're biased. That's just the way it works. And a lot of other people nearby in the community will sometimes you never get a fair opinion of how your creative voice works, because some people don't want to be confrontational, so they just say, "Oh, that was really good, yeah." Or you get people that are maybe jealous of it wanted to do that first or something, and then so they'll slag it off. So you can never really get a good feel. So tapping into something like fan films, which has a very big following all over the world online, and fans of cult shows like Doctor Who and Star Wars and all these kind of things, they're very passionate. So they will tell you, if they think something is really good, they will tell you it's really good, but they'll tell you why it's very good. And if you think it's shit, they will tell you it's shit and why. They don't hold back, and that's the power of the internet, because you don't have to go up to someone's face and go, "Oh, what was that about? That was pish." And this is why, because you're not going to get to why. You go up to someone in Glasgow and say, "By the way, your film was pish," before you go, because you've got done. People don't like confrontation, and those that do tend to go too far. But you see, that's the great thing about online. It's a safe environment to be honest. Obviously, you put the words Doctor Who before the title of your film, it's going to show up, and people start getting in touch with you, and people want to know more about it, and you get invited to events, you get invited to conventions, and I haven't always been invited, but the film has been requested by conventions all over the world, and sadly they haven't quite asked me to go along with them, but hey ho, that's budget constraints, isn't it? So it's been all over the world. It's been requested events in Australia, New Zealand and America. I was even asked for the script, so a convention in the Czech Republic could actually translate it and put subtitles on it for their event. So it's mad, and it's great, and you get asked to do you're invited onto podcasts and different sort of digital online radios. I've lost count of how many of these sort of audio interviews that I've provided over the years, because people are interested. People always, because you're a fan, you've gone out and recreated something that you love. Fans of that show immediately tap into it and they empathise with you, and they want to know, well, what did that feel like? What was the process? Why did you decide to do it that way? And did you think of it as a fan when you were doing it, or did you think about it as an actor when you were doing it? And people are just interested because they want to know how you did it, and then they compare that to how maybe they would have done it. And it's interesting. It's like having a fanatical conversation about your favourite colour, but there's an extra thing you can add to it. It goes somewhere else, because instead of saying, wouldn't it be cool if the Daleks came back and looked like this, or the Master came back and faced this, that kind of whatever. But the fact is, you've actually gone and you've brought the alien creatures in and faced them off with the Doctor. It's not a theory or a nice idea anymore. It's been done now. Mm. I've been a massive Doctor Who fan since I was 7 years old, and that has continued. Besieged has probably strengthened my love of it, because I had to kind of get my head around it and try and understand it from a professional standpoint in order to try and do something that is not just a piece of fan wank. I guess labelled as that a bit, it's like, but it's like I care. But it's a coherent story. It's a cast of really interesting characters because they're all played by professional actors. So it was treated as a professional outfit. And of course, a couple of things you've got to kind of jab yourself in the arm and remind yourself what you're doing. But no, it's like when we were doing it, I certainly treated it very seriously, as I would on any film project I'm involved in. And yeah, because you have to. If you drop the ball on that, then the whole thing will suffer, because you start lagging from the top, then everyone else will feel it. So yeah, it was a huge challenge, and because the time constraints were quite huge, we tried to do so much in a day that you don't have time to sit back and go, I'm fucking Doctor Who, excellent. You know, you don't have the time to do it. You don't have any time to kind of enjoy any of that kind of side of it until after you've done it, and then you go out and you promote it and you take it to conventions and you talk to, you know, hundreds of people at a time. But yeah, so you have to just plough through and do it, and you do it. Then afterwards, if it's kind of worked out, then you can kind of sit back and kind of enjoy it for what it is. I think it's a slightly bizarre choice for it. I don't know. It's that typical thing when they announce someone that's so far out left field. But typically when they announce a new actor, you're completely immersed in the method and the approach of the guy that's just leaving or about to leave. So until that new person comes in and makes his mark beyond the 30 seconds they get at the end of the previous series, you've no idea. I'm sure he'll surprise me. He's a very talented actor who's managed to reinvent himself quite a bit during his career. So I'm sure it'll be interesting coming from being a Scottish filmmaker and a fan of Scottish films. I'm very much aware that, you know, one of the most prolific Scottish films was actually his very first role, the local hero. So it's interesting to see him go from that and then kind of falls into the background a wee bit and then comes back quite heavy on with the thick of it, and then he's gone from the thick of it to Doctor Who. It's just quite an impressive progression, and it'll be interesting to see how he reinvents it.